Now, Warframe has this very slight, very small problem, and it's kind of a scaling issue, not necessarily with enemy levels, but with Overguard. Now, a lot of issues with Overguard have been fixed. I'll just say that off the bat, because I know there's a lot of Overguard glazers that love to bring up the fact that Hunter, Adrenaline, and Rage, that problem has been fixed ages ago. That's the first thing they'll mention. It's like it's been fixed. And then the other thing they'll mention is, well, actually not dying is fantastic, or I love nuking. So, it's kind of just ignore that, you know? Those points are kind of just annoying when you want to talk about just variety in a game. Overguard removes variety, and that is a big problem. For example, you can make any type of build you want. It's the beauty of Warframe, really. You can make a crowd control build, you can make a crowd control nuking build, you could do mix and mash, you can do literally whatever you want. You can imagine it and it's there. You could be a squishy frame that has literally nothing. You don't even use your abilities, and you could just run around shooting people. You could do whatever the fuck you want, and you probably have more imagination than I, so you can come up with better ideas. But the problem with Overguard is that it just straight up removes half of those options, even more, because you need to focus on dealing damage all the time. So let's say you run into a normal mission. Boom, there's an enemy with Overguard. If it's one enemy, whatever, you focus on them, shoot them down. It's all good. It's whatever. So long as you deplete the Overguard, you can put them into crowd control and you can fuck them up. Now, the thing that Overguard fucks with the most is crowd control. It's a dying breed. It's something that doesn't really exist anymore. And it's because DE doesn't like it either. They must not, because if you go into a Steel Path mission or anything like that, you'll run into just dozens of enemies that have Overguard. And so let's say you run a Steel Path build. Let's say you're Korra. Korra is the quintessential ultimate crowd control frame. Two abilities revolve around crowd control. And then let's unpause these targets. Boom, let's cast my form, my ultimate crowd control ability. None of it works on them. Enemies with Overguard cannot get caught in crowd control at all. That is an insane problem to have for a normal player. If you're not a die-hard Warframe player that spent hours and hours upon perfecting a single build, you're going to be getting your dick kicked in every single time you go into a normal mission now. Especially if you enjoy playing stealth frames, crowd control frames, anything that doesn't really revolve around super high, heavy, millions of red crit damage. Now, I get that there's no reason for DE to go out of their way to make crowd control more powerful when nuking has always been far more popular than crowd control ever was. But the problem that I mentioned with variety and backing themselves into a corner is that every new frame that's coming out recently, maybe aside from Kome is probably the last frame that didn't revolve around heavy damage, heavy high damage. Everything after that revolved around just doing insane amounts of damage all the time, and with insane base survivability at that. And pretty much what it feels like is that every frame that's going to be coming out is either going to be revolving around high damage, support, and that support will have something to do with Overguard, or just like Folly. Jack of all trades support can literally do fucking anything. This feels like a frame you'd get just before the game is like done releasing shit. She literally has everything in this wheel. Even Thermian RPGs, you know how quickly you can get through the Effervon tank mission now with just this fucking RPG, now that it's readily available all the time? It's absolutely insane. Why would you ever want to play another frame? A lot of people have problems with her aesthetic, but the inky blots coming out of her, I think that shit dope as hell, honestly. I love her inky aesthetic. Anyway, I don't want to make this video like 30 minutes long of me just ranting. So the point is, Overguard was made to give the players a challenge, because the challenge wasn't there. And now that Overguard's been out for a long while now, the challenge still isn't there. Warframe has actively removed every challenge the entire way. Like, every time they release an update, the challenge is gone every single time. Now, and before somebody gets all upset, I know that you as the player can make the game more challenging for yourself by not using a nuking build. I get it. Okay, I'm not stupid. But it's crazy that you as the player have to give yourself a challenge just to make the game challenging. That makes no sense. As a solo player, you could run through an Archmedia, even an elite Archmedia, with relative ease, so long as you take any of the last like 8 frames that Warframe has released with their base kit, with no helmet, and with like 2 or 3 format in them. You can run through that shit with ease. It's insane. You can't tell me that that isn't a scaling issue when everything is just insanely easy to the point where it's mind-numbingly boring. Anyway, I feel like I went on for too long in the end anyway. A very quick recap. The point was that Overguard destroys certain ways of playing the game for other builds, other players, and there's just an over prevalence of Overguard enemies within the map that also destroys it for other playstyles. So in the end, it just limits playstyles, and it seems to all revolve around nuking and just high damage weapons. And though most of the problems with it, like it affecting rage and hunter adrenaline, has been removed, it still does disrupt team support. And now, with that being said, that's pretty much just about it. And before anybody gets it misconstrued, I actually do like Overguard. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. I'm kind of whatever on it. I like having it. I like having it on the enemies, but only when I'm running a nuke build. If I'm Korra and I see a room of enemies with Overguard, I'm going to be upset because I know that my abilities do jack shit. I'm going to have to work my ass off just to survive that entire time. I get it's hard to make a game balanced at this point, but Overguard removes that balance entirely. At least that's how I feel. And honestly, with that being said, that is just about it. So, what do you think of Overguard? Does it remove variety? Does it add it? And do you like it or not? Until next time.